Welcome to another episode of Podcast with Varu. We would have heard about this term called personal branding of late. This has been a very crazy topic of discussion among friends, colleagues, and people we meet. And we also get to know a lot of people, whether it's Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or anything. We get to know people because of personal branding. And in today's episode, you're going to watch, listen, and learn interesting aspects of personal branding from Arunachalam, who is the founder and CEO of Social Sculpt. The best part is this person is super young and he knows what he's doing, which is super cool. And from the first minute till the last minute of the discussion, I learned so much from him, and I'm very, very sure you're also going to learn a lot from this particular conversation. We discussed what is personal branding and what is not, how we have been perceiving it, uh, some best practices around LinkedIn if you are very serious about building your brand, and how personal branding and content creation is actually not the same. I mean, it is a part of it, it's a crucial part of it, but it is not the same, right? If you ask someone, are you a creator? There is a huge difference between someone saying, hey, I'm a creator, versus someone building a brand. There is always um, a purpose and meaning attached to both of these personalities, and we've discovered that. Apart from that, you would also understand what it means to be an entrepreneur, what it means to basically like chase the purpose of your life, and how hardships can actually like shape a person. Arnachalam is a testament to it. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And like when I had this, like when we were having a discussion around all of this and his perceptions around the leadership, how leadership should approach personal branding and things like that, it blew my mind. And they were all sort of simple, but we've been complicating it. And I highly, highly recommend you all to watch this episode, take notes, and ask any questions about it in the comments so that I can pass it on to Arnachalam, or I can connect you with him. I will be sharing his LinkedIn link in the description. So let's dive in. Welcome to Podcast with Varu.
Hi, Aru. Hi. Thanks for inviting.
So I can call you Arun, right? Arnachalam seems to be
Yes.
long, just like my name. So I've shortened my name, Varu, Vara.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel a lot of people call me Arun who know me better. Yeah.
Awesome. Before we dive into our podcast, right?
Mhm.
Something that was very intriguing to me, and I think I mentioned this over our call as well, is that, dude, I have close to 10 years of experience. Okay. I know experience does not matter at all in this age and time. It's a huge pain in the ass thing for someone to become a founder. The journey isn't easy. People might say anything. Everyone has an idea, but no one has that. Not many have the capability and ability to make that, give life to that idea. And beyond that, you're also seeing some sort of ROI in return is a huge thing for someone. Especially, I did see that you've recently completed your MBA, 2021 passed out, and 2024 you've recently completed your MBA, August 24, which is hardly like a few months ago, and you're a founder. So tell me about that, being young founder. Have you ever been like in a position, Tambi, unsaid Popa, in that sort of a position,
Mm,
or like can you
mm,
call someone elder so that I can speak to them?
okay. See, first of all, I want to clear one thing. I didn't complete my MBA, so
You've
it
not.
is just linked. Yeah, I have not completed my MBA since
Okay.
I started Social Sculpt on January 2024. From that, I have been little hectic. Few of my exams are pending, so I just want to note that I didn't complete my MBA, but I am doing my practical MBA through Social Sculpt. That's one thing. And see, I faced a lot of struggles when I was young. When I was young means still I'm young,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
from my age of 18 to 21, like when I was 18, I lost both of my parents. From there to uh, getting a degree itself was like big task, and I was a university gold medalist. So that itself was a very big task that I went through. That really molded me and shaped me. Why entrepreneurship is even before social sculpt, I started with two companies. First one was Arun Creations, which was a design based agency. It didn't work out for me. And after that, when in my college third year, I started a company called Astogs, which is a print on demand business. We successfully launched it. We invited around 25 entrepreneurs. We ran it for 6 months, out of which 3 months were profitable, 3 months was great loss, so we shut down. So why entrepreneurship? So there is a quote I've studied, like, when you have nothing to lose, you can try something new. So that's the only belief that I have till now. Since I have nothing to lose, I started from scratch. So whatever I'm going to do, it's a gain for me. I have nothing to lose. That's the only thing I'm going about. And why social sculpt? And there are a lot of people in the market. When I started working after this college, when I shut down Astox, I started working as a designer. When I started as a designer, I approached a lot of companies. I got into one company which was just now building a marketing agency. There, I joined as fifth employee. After 6 months to 1 year, I promoted as a growth marketer. Since I was upskilling myself, I didn't stop with design. I was a very curious kid on the whole agency. I was very young. I was a curious kid who wanted to explore on other sides as well. I am from a VFX background, but I am into design as well as I want to learn marketing. Once I learn marketing, I want to manage teams. So all these things. Then I promoted as a manager. I was a very youngest guy to be promoted as a manager, the whole organization. So the curious kid in me want to keep on learning is what drive me forward. And once I got the saturation point after 2 years, my inner self doubted me. Arun, it's been 2 years. You are still working. You are in a comfort zone. Wake up. So then I thought, okay, we are doing something for other company. Okay, we're working 8 hours. Even for that company, I worked 12 hours also. I felt it like my company. I also advise my peers also, like, for the people who are nowadays starting, even though if you can't start your own business, work in a new startup, work like an entrepreneur, like you work as of like 12 hours or something straight, not for that company. You will learn a lot of things while you are working. Then you can eventually pivot into your own company. That's where I also thought, like, okay, we'll start a company on our own. And actually, I had an idea, like, since all of us are in the social domain, I like the word sculpt a lot. Why sculpt a lot is like, in 3D modeling, we sculpt. I study VFX, and also my mother and father is a big theist. I was also a theist. Now I'm atheist. That they take me to a lot of temples where I see a lot of sculptures and those things. From my childhood, I draw a lot. Now I stopped. I'm not a creative person anymore. Uh, I was a creative person. So that sculpture thing was really interesting for me. And there is a movie called Villa 2 where you see Ajit speaking on dialogue. என் வாழ்க்கையில ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் ஒவ்வொரு நொடியும் நானா செதுக்குனது. So that like I like the that very much a lot, and I felt it so relatable. So I want to socially sculpt a lot of people. So that's why social sculpt is the name. So it goes along with personal branding as well as whatever we do in daily life. So that's how it came. So that's how I see myself, and I felt tapping into my own story, people relate to it. So then, whatever I have done through my journey, I can do it for a lot of founders also. Like basically narrating the story in a way like people relate to. So that's how social sculpt and I started my journey. Hope
I
I
mean,
answered your question.
you did, and the way
Mm.
you narrated this particular, I mean, I wouldn't call narrate, but yeah, shared your answer for the question that I had in itself had so much life to it, right? Like, I usually like take notes, but this kind of stuck into my head the moment you said. And first of all, I'm really sorry that you had to go through at a very young age. Losing parents isn't a joke, and so proud to be associating with someone who is actually like sculpted himself, like like you mentioned, to be a person who you are today. It's not easy. But dude, I need to
Yes.
ask you something, man. Like, 2 years you worked and you felt that I'm working for someone, what am I doing? I'm getting into a comfort zone. I am in that. I'm sure a lot of people are there in that seat for years together, decades together. I mean, no offense to anyone, but people keep thinking that, but it's very difficult for someone to do. And majority of the reason is because what you mentioned, right? Like, a lot of people have something to lose, and that is actually like holding them back. But the attitude
Yes.
that you carry is really very commendable. Like, there's nothing to lose. I mean, whatever I'm going to do is definitely going to be a gain. Like, it's going to be an experience gain or something that
Yeah, like, even though it's a failure, I learned something out of it.
you'll definitely like gain a lot of
Yeah.
people's,
Mm.
relationship and connections as well. So I think that cannot be replaced by anything else. Okay, now we are going to dive into more
Mm.
about this personal branding space that you mentioned, what
Sure.
social sculpt does, right? So I'm going to ask you a lot of cliched and a few non-cliched, because why cliched? We always
Mm.
think that these questions are very obvious, but we assume the answers to be different. So that's one of the reason why I wanted to like mix both of the things. I hope you're ready.
Yes, sure. I definitely
Um,
want to break into a lot of myths on personal branding. See, a lot of things are revolving around the internet, so I just also want to clear those things. I definitely want to
Amazing.
answer your questions.
Amazing. I'm also looking forward to it because I am in the process of learning myself. So,
Okay,
I think this is going to be a great session for me as well.
glad done.
So, I saw your post yesterday, which was very interesting for me, basically because of this particular statement that you put over there. So, let me quote it correctly. Most people think personal branding is about fame. It's why they stay invisible. I mean,
Yes.
it kind of hit the nerve for me, because initially even I had the same thought. It's about fame. um but even fame, right? Like, it is a byproduct of whatever you're doing. Fame or money or
Yes.
whatever is a
Yes.
byproduct, right? Now, according to you, what exactly is personal branding and what is not personal branding? Like you said, let's break the myths and let's give them the clarity of this is personal branding, this is not personal branding.
Okay. Building audience, authentic audience for yourself, and telling your story without being uh, made some into something like adding masala is not personal branding. Content creation is not personal branding. First of all,
Okay, okay.
okay. So what I want to clarify is a lot of people ask me, Arun, you started social sculpt, but more than social sculpt, we see you everywhere. You are building fame. No, no, it's not about building fame. It's a founder-led approach. Once, if now I'm telling you my story, you connected with me, you resonated with me.
True.
And if I'm say doing this for an entrepreneur, and see now you know why social sculpt was started. Now you
True.
know my vision. So this is what personal branding is. But this is just a story. So what content creation does it adds a storytelling approach to whatever content that you're going to put. It adds an element of you to that content. It creates a flavor to what the person is. It can be either sarcastic or it's your own branding, right? For it's a brand that you are building. You are adding your tonality. You are adding your own colors to it. You are adding your own flavor. So that is actually telling your story and what you have worked on. It's not just about story, right? It's about telling what you have worked on, what you worked for, whom you are working. That's what personal branding is.
This is a great metaphor that you basically like put out. Like, I also have this worrisome thought, Arun, which because um until I got serious about, building a brand, because until then, even I was assuming that, I need to create content, I need to create content because it's what we see, right? Like, the first thing that
Hmm.
will come to our mind is if you create content, you basically embody a brand, you become a brand XYZ. But you
Hmm.
said that really very nice, that you share your own perspective, you share the flavor of you is what the
Hmm.
brand is all about, right? And
Yes.
that itself is very unique. It varies, like, 10,000 people can be like sarcastic, but how am I
Yes.
sarcastic? What
And
words
why
are
I'm
you?
sarcastic?
Yeah, why I am
Um,
sarcastic? I mean, like, where am I sarcastic? I mean, like, talking about money and then I'm being sarcastic over there. Like, many
mm,
people out there, like the supposedly LinkedIn gurus or experts or someone out there, you know, they say that this should, I mean, like, even when it comes to the tonality, they seem to set some sort of rules like, hey, this has to be the tone. If you add humor to it, people will definitely like it. If you add this to it, people will definitely like it, because this is something worked for me. But I think I really don't agree to that concept of it worked for me, it will work for you. Because like you exactly said, every single person has a different tone, different way of expressing.
yeah.
They can probably imitate that element for probably one or two, I mean, I can call post, but very less time. After that, they either don't want to continue, or they sort of disassociate themselves with what they are doing when they create content. Am I right or wrong?
So there are two ways to go about it. So you can take whatever they are saying. You have to infuse your own strategy into it.
Hmm.
And there are some things that you need to go with the way of algorithm, I would say,
Okay.
because even though you are going to try to like communicate naturally,
Hmm.
like for the example, the hook should be like 8 to 12 words. That it needs to create curiosity, right? Like then only people will click on it. It doesn't mean that I'm saying you to like write clickbaity content. It can be
Yeah.
either like what's the one thought that top of your mind you want to like strike to your audience. It's about communicating really well to your audience. Basically, you are conversing with other people on the next screen. It should be
True.
relatable. If I'm speaking to you in this podcast, how can I convey it to a LinkedIn post? That's how I will write. That's how it should be. Whatever they may say, like adding humor or something like that. There are some structure to it. Like uh, the last should have some call to action. That's a basic. So that can be followed, but don't just go blind and follow whatever they are saying, because they have a different niche. You have a different niche. You may be into whatever it is, and they're into agency or they're into selling. If he is saying they need to book a call, they need to do a discovery and other things, you are into manufacturing sector and you can't do the same thing. So
True.
you need to see what aligns with you and you need to work around that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And hook part is something that I agree, because there are about hundreds of thousands of posts each day. I mean, whether it's LinkedIn or
Hmm.
Instagram, whatever channel we choose to basically like grow our brand, personal brand.
Hmm.
There are thousands of posts out there. And if you have to stand out, it is very important that you are able to hook them in at the first
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah.
that I completely agree. And I think, yeah,
And your entire content won't be visible. You will have that see more button when you post. So those are the things that if you know the platform and you know why it is designed that way, then you will understand it better. If it's a carousel, you have to narrate the story throughout, and last only you have to give the solution to them. You need to have a conflict and you need to give them a context towards it. So those are some of the aspects you need to like better know it better to like build your brand.
got it. Now, since you mentioned carousel, right? So, can you quickly jot down, things where if it's carousel, what are the things like you mentioned? Conflict solution, problem, conflict solution. So,
Hmm.
similarly, if it's a text post, what is the common structure that people should have to like keep in mind? If you can give me quickly about it, or video or something, it will be definitely helpful.
The one of the most working format in LinkedIn is carousels. See, carousel is something people you created to save. Basically, they need to save it or they need to share it with other people or they can repost. These are the three important metrics of a carousel. It should be more informative as well as it needs to craft a story. So basically, if you are narrating a story, first you introduce your problem statement. So once they see what is the problem statement or what they can learn in the next upcoming carousels, you can build up to it and then you can give a solution and ask them to take an action to it. Basically, a call to action. If it's a video, there are different parameters involved in it. the first 1 second need to stop their scroll. Now LinkedIn separately has a video tab. So if they're doom scrolling like Instagram, they need to stop it. Once they stop it, there are various parameters. Your visual look should be proper. The way you apply your text in the dynamic way, it should be proper. Then you need to give a same CTA to them to follow you, or you need to share that reel. So without that, the reel won't be gaining. And there is an important metric called insight density per second,
Okay.
which is basically how many insights are you giving to your audience per second so that they
Oh,
stay in your reel.
okay.
Without that, they don't need to sit and watch your reel. They just scroll up.
True.
So that's one for video. And if it's a static, it can either be a photo, because the main reason why photo and write-up works on LinkedIn is because people scroll, stop the post because it's you. So
Mm.
that's one way. And I I find a lot of people misuse that in a different way. Uh, that's a different topic altogether. And the third one would be infographics.
Yeah.
LinkedIn people are mostly intellectuals, and they take a lot of time to sit and read about a lot of things. So infographic is a great way, but it is time consuming, and you should not also plagiarize someone's infographic and put it down as yours. And another main problem, or one thing I face is uh, LinkedIn doesn't have a strict reporting feature like Instagram. If you take someone's content or
Mm.
someone's code from the internet and you just put it down and repurpose, LinkedIn doesn't have that, and people are still now engaging with them, and it's going viral at times. So if I think they will evolve it in the future. Since LinkedIn is now giving a lot of organic reach to creators, since they are just evolving, I feel it will be 1 year more to just use the LinkedIn. This is the golden age, I would say, you to build a brand on LinkedIn. I think so video is coming now. A lot of other format will decrease its own reach. So within a year, I think the evaluation of this platform will happen.
Got it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you dissected carousel and video. I mean, and of course, infographic. I think another reason why I feel the infographic part also seems to work is this, because I've tried a format similarly for, a company that I'm working for, and it sort of works really well there as well. I think it's
Mm,
because, um, just like carousel, this infographic as well, right? The first thing that I do is like I go and save it, because at
mm,
one stretch, you don't have to scroll, you don't
yes,
have to do anything. At one stretch you get everything. It's like there's so
yes,
much amazing visual on top of it, and
yes,
information that is
mm,
placed really well, that it gives a lot of dopamine rush for a person, that hey, I have to save it, I have to reshare it, or
yeah,
I have to do something, because
yes.
it's everything is right there.
Another one reason why I would say infographics or carousel information work is more than people consuming the content and want to become intelligent, people want to show that they are intelligent. That's how psychology works. So,
True, true, very true.
yes.
Yeah, exactly, you put it right. Yeah, that is so true. Amazing. So, this is something that, as when I was a consultant, I faced this a lot. I mean, I was not consulting around LinkedIn or personal branding, but I faced this a lot. I think I wouldn't call it phase. It's a very normal and a very reasonable questions coming from founders, right? Like a lot of founders or leadership, the C-suite professionals, they do understand the importance of any platform they want to choose, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, X, or whatever it is, wherever they want to build a personal brand for themselves. They do understand it's very important at this particular time and age. But the biggest problem where it comes is the pricing, and um, they have like unrealistic expectation in terms of ROI. Either it is around the ROI or it is around the vanity numbers. Like within a month's time, they'll say, "Hey, I'm not getting people. Not many people are like liking. Why don't you talk about this part of my business? You should talk this, getting more technical. You should talk like a subject matter expert, XYZ, and things like that." So what would you like, usually like do when you talk to such people, and what would you like to tell people out there? Because it's because they are, I wouldn't say that, they're definitely putting us on spot, but ideally they don't know exactly what they should expect in return. So what would you like to tell them?
So, see, when I speak to a founder to build a personal brand, I'll tell him, see, you want to build a Rome or you want to build something like a small house. If you want to build a Rome, you have to wait. You have to be patient. It was not built easily. It takes time. So
Hmm.
your personal brand is something like that. And if you really want to narrate your story, see, you have 10 years of experience and you want to show it to the audience. I can make it crisp, I can squeeze it and everything. Basically, want to build a brand. To build a brand, there are different stages of building a brand. You need to have an awareness stage, and people need to consider you to get something buy from you or book a call with you. They need to consider you. Then only the conversion part happens. This is what a brand also does, and for personal branding, it applies the same. So, for you to get the ROI of money that you have invested in doing personal brand, you need to give your time to do personal brand. You can't be like, I'll be all day in a meeting, I won't give you stories. So you
Right.
have to sit with us and you have to give us your stories. We will make sure that how it sounds like you and how it actually goes along with your audience. It naturally takes 3 to 6 months bare minimum to build an awareness. Okay, this person exists here and this person has this expertise in LinkedIn. If it's Instagram, I would say it can be done quickly, but the audience that you are targeting on Instagram is not the audience that will pay you.
True.
If you want mass followers, they won't be paying you. If you want loyal followers on Instagram, the followers takes time, even though they won't pay you that much because ideally a LinkedIn user has more purchasing power than Instagram users. So if you want to build a proper brand, the ROI takes 6 to 1 year basically. Even people would say, I can go and scrap B2B leads on Apollo.io. I can cold email blast them. I can get a call, a recording book with them. I can close a deal. Within 1 week, you can close a deal. I'm not saying you can't close a deal. I'm saying personal branding is an authentic way where you know the industry knows you better, and we are positioning as a thought leader there. With booking a $2 million call with Apollo.io, nobody invite you to speak in an event.
Very true. Yeah.
So to build authority and to see as a thought leader among your peers, you need to do that. If you have 2 billion in your account, a lot of people have 2 billion in their account, but you can't go to a college and can't go randomly speak. So unless they have paid much, see, you can pay and get things done. But at the end, if you see in the mirror and ask yourself, you will feel guilty about it. Yeah.
Guilt is one. The other thing is that when you invest the time that you mentioned, 6 months to a
Mm.
year or something, uh, there is like you're building a mechanism which is going to generate, make the entire lead generation process, like, automated lead generation process in itself.
Automated, simple, and people will trust you even before they
Exactly.
speak to you.
Exactly. The trust matters, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like, to someone coming to your call, you going and talking to them and expecting them to understand what you do versus someone, like, because of that 6 months that you've to a year you've invested,
Mm.
people know who you are. People trust you
Yes.
because they've been watching you share
Mm.
certain things. They've seen your successes, they've seen your failures, they've seen your growth, everything, and then they come to you where it takes typically like long sales cycle. You will get calls booked, but imagine that
Yes.
you're sitting behind following up crazily,
Mm.
and then you go and spend money again.
Yes.
So this is sustainable.
One person referred to me. Sorry to interrupt. One person referred me to one person. We previously met in a networking event. He don't know that I do this specific service. Once he
Okay.
know that, okay, Arun, you are doing that. Okay, we'll just book a call. Next day I gave him a plan. Next day it got closed. Just took 3 days.
Hmm.
So when you build trust and we build brand, it act naturally for the process is so simple. And
Makes sense.
one thing I felt with founders or someone who's not ready to invest in building personal brand is they think trust is cheap, and I feel cheap people can't afford it. Like what Ashmeta, that series they're told, it actually is true. If they are thinking cheaper, they can't afford the money to build a brand. Then that's what also reflects in them.
True, I think it's also mindset, right? Like,
Yes,
it's because everyone else is doing, I also want to do, is someone who is not very, who doesn't understand the idea of building a brand. Again, I think that person falls in the category of what you mentioned
correct.
about,
Yes. And
they
there are
don't,
second type of people. This lot of people won't say to you. There
okay.
are people who are insecure about them, insecure about them, who doesn't have the skill set, but want to position them as a personal branding. They want to do a fake personal brand for them.
Oh,
With
this is the first time I'm hearing.
there are people like this. There are second generation and third generation people who has their backup of business of their father,
Hmm.
who have not done anything, who just came out of college or done something for 2 years and not fit for anything, but want to build a brand for them, which is a fake story that they itself want to create and do it. Since they have the money, they are doing it. But naturally, it will got exposed. And let us say, like they can survive more.
Makes
Every
sense.
mask will fall one day.
So, in a nutshell, personal branding, the investment that you do is more than money. It's definitely like the time that you are basically like going to
Yes,
give. And
yes,
secondly, or that in return, what you get is like commendable, like you earn their trust, and you also position yourself as a thought leader,
yes,
which either ways you're trying to do, like whatever you create content, like blogs, you're creating content on other places, it's again for the same purpose. I don't think it should harm you to basically build somewhere over here where it's
yes,
easy for you to like grow, and you also know the other person.
yes.
That's a great breakdown, Arun. Thank you so much for putting that very
No
clearly.
pressure, pressure.
So, I have a very interesting question for you, and don't get me wrong. Okay. You
Okay.
are actually in the business of personal branding, and
Yes.
there's a recent interview that I saw of Amir Khan and his ex wife Kiran Rao, where he was mildly roasting her for naming her company called Kindling and not Kiran Rao Pictures for her production,
Mm,
because people associate with the name very easily. Like you have
mm,
built a brand for yourself as a person, right? Like
yes.
why choose a different brand name for your agency instead of your own self? And people, it is very difficult for someone to associate you versus the brand A. B, even in the website when I see, it says these are the clients that you've worked with, and there are a lot of companies, but I don't see the human that are associated with the companies. Was it like intentional, or is there any psychology behind it,
Okay,
Arun?
it is intentional. See, uh, Arunachalam or Arun as a person, now you are seeing me as a guy who builds personal brand around that. I had a phase of being a growth marketer, and in my company social skull, we also do growth marketing, and we do a bunch of more steps like social media and for ORM, online reputation management. So those are the clients that we have worked with. That's are the logo that you are seeing. Lot of people we work with can't be shown as a case study or things, because whoever we work in the personal branding space, we sign an NDA with them, so we
Okay.
can't disclose their faces or something like that. That's one reason. And social sculpt is something that started to scale my other businesses that I'm going to build in the future. This
Okay.
is not, this is just a start of something big. So social sculpt is one of my baby. So there are upcoming things. So I don't want to stick to my name to it. So
Makes
Arun as
sense.
a person will be an entrepreneur who is building a lot of things, interesting things. That's it.
Do you want to spill some tea about the interesting things that you're building, or is it going to be like
Okay.
behind the scenes?
No, no, like one thing I've already spoken to a few community members. I know people in the LinkedIn also know. So I'm building something called Sculpty, which is basically a tool that is associated with like AI, and you can build your personal brand with that. It basically automates your content strategy, and it gives you once you feed your personality into it by answering few set of questions, it creates content like you, because you are feeding a lot of data to it. So it is for two busy professionals who can afford their time at whenever they are possible. If you are coming to agency like us, it will be like it will be a mutual time sharing. Like whenever we are working and you, so for people like that and the very busy founders who want to quick it to their nuances, I feel those kind of tool will definitely help them to scale their personal brand, and will also give a lot of data to people who are running agencies. Also, this tool will be applicable, and I also feel it as a lead generation mechanism for my own agency. So there are three things to see in that one tool.
I did see. I mean, that was a very interesting
Mm.
product of yours because I've come across a lot of AI content creation specifically around LinkedIn and things like that. What stood out for me with Sculpt You as a product that you're building is like three things. One is the engagement suite that you've built there, right? Because I think there are so many tools for creating content and things like that. Like, you can train it like Claude or Chat GPT, where you can train it in such a way that it behaves, I mean, like the personality that can
Yeah.
mimic like you and things like that. But the engagement responses that you were talking about, I think that's the most critical part, because um, that is the place where you can actually like, that's another place where you can position yourself as a thought leader, share
Yes,
your
I feel, yes, correct. Yes. I feel in my LinkedIn comment section itself, there are a lot of AI comments, but I don't have a choice just to reply them with a thank you or have a nothing. So,
understand.
so that's the thing. See, a lot of AI comments I've come across. So I just wanted that to be like corrected, and engaging in a proper way is also a different strategy that a lot of personal branding people know in LinkedIn. So I want to implement that with AI. Yeah, that's it.
I think the other one that stood out is the brand protection suite of yours.
Yeah.
I think it creates. I mean, the you mentioned the credibility and trust that comes
Mhm.
from there, and also I think you have a feature over there that is around networking, right? Like, what is your
Yes.
networking goal? How it should look like? What sort of a
Mm.
growth trajectory the networking should look like? I think that's
Yes.
the most another core part of building your brand, because
Yes.
uh, you network with the right set of people, you identify, you connect with the right set of people. I think that is one of the most crucial part of building a personal brand. So I think that's another thing that I really liked about the product.
Thank you so much.
So I'm
Actually,
looking
you know
forward to.
the value, so you understood the overall dynamics about it.
I think many will be able to really understand, because I think
Mm.
those are the biggest differentiators from your product and other products out there.
Mm.
And I'm very sure once you, I mean, this is in beta stage right now, right? Like it's
No, no,
not.
no, no. This is no. This is just an MVP. We are just building the tech top of it. Designs also we are working on. It takes time. Just innovating few more things. I'm using my LinkedIn overall to analyze what is working. How can it be improved? So just sculpting the
Definitely,
product itself.
it's definitely a great addition to your whole process,
Mm.
as a business as well. And one more thing that I wanted to like ask you was around the same product, but somehow it's not striking. Probably like when it strikes, I'll definitely like ask you.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. So, we've been talking about personal branding a lot around LinkedIn, right? And you did touch upon this Instagram a bit. So, I wanted to
Yes.
ask you this, right? Like, because if it is a D2C brand founder, of course, LinkedIn is also important. I wouldn't like leave LinkedIn as a non equation, but it's also important for someone to basically be there either on Instagram or on YouTube, because it's widely consumed by a lot of consumers who would
Yes. For if it is definitely a D2C brand, I would say LinkedIn would be a platform to build authority for your own brand, but for brand to associate with them, Instagram Reels and long form content as a series, or inviting influencers, or doing a podcast with influencers in Instagram and YouTube is definitely a way to build your personal brand. I would definitely tell people to do that. And also, I'm also advising the founders that are coming to me, and we are also facilitating those kind of things to them. So we are currently working with 3 people in Instagram space, and one podcast we are in talks with them to do. So yes.
Got it. Yeah, I think my next question was around that. So you are actually helping someone to build their personal brand on other
Yes,
channels as well.
yes. But LinkedIn is a strong suit as of now. I basically, if I'm venturing into something, I productize myself, then I do it for others. So Instagram and YouTube is something that I'm not touched upon with myself. I have to start it as soon as possible. 2025 is something that I've set as a goal to start those two things in my own thing.
Got it. Another personal challenge that I faced, Arun, is that probably a few months ago, right? Like I had so much to share. I have like so much, like because of the experience that I have, because I wanted to share more around. See, I come from a community building background. The biggest
Hmm.
challenge for me as a person was this, like what niche to choose, because I'm not a founder. I don't belong to any specific category. I might have gone through career changes and, pivots and things like that in my 10-year journey. So it was very difficult for me to basically like identify this is the niche I want to go with and things like that. And I really wished something could have happened where one of my friends mentioned, hey, I'm planning to start a cohort, sort of a workshop, sort of a thing or something, where, like month on month, you can pay for X amount. And then, like, I get to create content. I can see who is actually creating content, what sort of content they are creating. So many things, like you'll have, challenges, you'll have like daily things to do and stuff like that. And I was very excited about it. But for some reason, he was not able to like take it up and do. He was busy. Do you have any plan as such? Because like you said, there's one set of people who would really require your help end to end, who will be your ideal agency client customer. I mean, like, the relationship. And there's
Okay.
another set of people who would use your product. And there's also a third category where I believe that they have the tendency to understand there is whether they have a product or not or something. You become a guide, you become an advisor, right? And you
Okay.
have a community of sorts where people are going to be a part of a cohort. The cohort can actually like end after a point of time, or after the cohort gets over, they can get to be part of your community there itself. And eventually when you build your product, they become your early adopters or something of your product. Do you have
Okay.
anything in mind to basically like build such workshops for people?
Okay, yeah. So actually, I want to do. I'm in plans to do something like that. I am planning to take a personal branding workshop in December or in January. I'm planning to start. So people who I'm targeting mostly CEOs and founders and working professional who have 8 years plus of experience, 8 to 9 years plus of experience, basically helping them or teaching about how they can work on the personal branding space, as well as once they enroll to a course, a workshop, they will be joining my own community where I will be helping them with few months of access. Then they can go. That's it. They're basically building a community around that.
Nice. I mean, it definitely someone should start. Let me know once you start. I'll be very happy to be a part of it.
Sure, I think you will see my ad soon.
So looking forward to it.
So, thank you.
Cool. So you did mention you are, helping around YouTube. I mean, like Instagram for now, but you're planning to like expand by trying it for yourself.
Mm.
So there's been this objections that many people have come and told me that why would I have to pay you when I have ChatGPT or Claude or any other AI tool with me?
Mm.
why would I have to pay you is one question many people have. Like, it's not just as an
Okay.
agency that I'm talking about, anyone who's
Mm.
individually consulting for the personal branding, right? So they have,
Okay.
many of them have actually like told me, hey, this is something
Mm.
as an objection that people come and keep.
Mm.
um, so when you get started with personal branding, like you said, I think it's also important how you position yourself. You can like, AI can create content, AI can do anything, there's no doubt about it. I mean, but
Yes.
for that, there are a couple of things involved. One, time, because you just don't get anything just because you put it, you don't get, and you just
Correct.
can't
Correct.
first
Yes.
output as well. So how do you handle that objection of that AI part of it? And second,
Okay.
how someone, when it comes to positioning, what are something that you would advise
Mm.
these founders should be basically like doing?
Okay. So objection handling, what I would say is, you are not paying for the work that we do. You are paying for the time that we invest in you, as well as the expertise that I have with us, which is built over time. So both are time constrained. So you are paying for that. So that's the first objection handling that I would say. If you can sit and do a content strategy and use ChatGPT and Collod or whatever it is to build your personal brand, and you have that expertise, you don't need us, and you have that much time. So I don't see you are my potential client. So that's one way of handling that objection. And second, you asked me is uh, so second question, I don't get it. Like, what's the
Positioning
second?
someone,
Positioning. Positioning is something like we would ask them a set of questionnaires. Set of questionnaire in the sense, oh, you have built your career 9 years plus in this industry, or you have run this company for 2 to 3 years. Here, what are the major problems that you have solved, and which area you feel a gap has, and who is your audience, so that for them, if you are positioned here, you would be easily ranked towards them. So, for example, if they are the edtech founder, they want to attract the people in the college space to come to their edtech platform to teach. So the positioning should be like having authority over. He has been gone through a lot of edtech programs before, and he knows to how to interact with people in the edtech sector. So your content also should align with them. Basically, building a network and connection and engagement around them would definitely attract you this opportunity to build this edtech brand. So that's the positioning. So it differs to different type of people. So where you want to actually position yourself, so because you attract your right audience.
got it. So since you mentioned this positioning, it is, I'm making to ask you this question, which is, I think you must have seen it a lot. There are a lot of, I mean, I cannot call it shit posting, but I think I'm just
Mm.
going to go ahead and do that. There are a lot of shit
Okay.
posts,
Yeah,
irrespective.
I see at least 10 to 9 posts like that day to day basis.
Yeah, right. So there are a lot of shit posts, and people are, I don't know what is the reason behind posting all of that, but like so much of content. I mean, the that shit posts as well attract a lot of engagement. Like, I've also seen like it attracting like really good engagement. I mean, just the vanity numbers probably
Yeah,
cannot.
vanity metric, and see those posts doesn't really matters to anyone. Like it gets reach and everything. It doesn't actually solve a purpose. Like it doesn't build a credibility. It doesn't build you leads, or it doesn't build you anything. It's just a post that is going viral, and people will forget you. Like even see, except 2 days before, if you have, or I would say, just think about it. After 2 months, you think about me, but you will definitely don't remember any of my content. I have been
So
posting for 334 days consistently. Even the person who started reading my post from the day one till today, if he read my content, what he finally feel is Arun is speaking about personal branding. That's a 1% of headspace real estate that I own in their mind. They
true,
don't remember my content or anything. That's what we
true,
are building. For the people who
true.
are doing this viral content or viral posts, they don't even have the space of accommodating that 1% in other people did. They will be seen as 10 to 5 viral post creator. They don't remember the name.
Got it. Now, how do you balance these two things, Arun? Like, you mentioned that there is story part of it that you need to say, like the you has to come out, and there's also the
Mm.
other side, because at the end of the day, I'm here for the business. People should know me, my thought process, everything is fine. But this is what I represent. I represent, let's say, I help businesses build products in, like MVP in
Mhm.
just 50 days. This is what I want to represent. Right?
Okay.
How do you
Basically, after offer crafting.
yeah, how do you basically
Um,
balance both of it when you build a brand?
so what we basically tell in social sculpt or someone who wants to onboard with us and work with us is we figure out a personal brand for you that you don't really know at the start of. So that's why you're reaching out to us. Basically, crafting a narrative towards them, building a brand and story for them, not building in sense we won't build something just nowhere else. Like we ask them a set of questions, we understand them properly, and we build a story. In that itself, we onboard people who basically have 8 to 9 plus years of work experience and who have run a company for basically 1 to 3 years. So they solidly have experiences to share. We sit and ask their experiences of how they have built their work. So you take their work, you take the story, basically life part, personally also, you integrate both, and you integrate both in a way people get it as a story. You narrate it towards a story that involves different formats, and you basically give the product or that thing to a end user, which is basically your audience or customers. After their engagement, you'll have metrics. You validate that metrics and you understand this is not aligning with your customers. We'll drop these things. This is highly aligning with your customers. We will take more content from this side. We'll dig into the nuances of this content and nuances of your work. Basically, that's what people want. And we also analyze which are the content that are giving you leads. We dive more into that and create content on that behalf. So the lead mechanism works. So basically diversifying the three buckets into different time of posting in the LinkedIn.
Got it. And when you say like you basically like get to know about the person and what they want to convey and all of that, and their experience, background, all of that. So do you also like design the content for them? Like when you say personal branding, I mean, like as content creation is an integral part of it.
Yes.
So do you basically do the static video and all of that for them, or is it just
Yes,
that?
yes.
Okay,
Yes, we definitely do it for them because see, that's the very important part. See, if they are missing the way of how the video really works, then the content don't go that doesn't go well on LinkedIn. And in the creative part also, they really need to place the content in the right place.
true.
If they are placing in the different font size, which text needs to be in the front side, what's the CTA, how the design should be. Overall, the design language also should correlate with their own brand tonality. So, from a designer background who's come along this way, I also see those kind of things also align with them.
Got it. And another thing I've also noticed is that when there is too much brand, when you create a carousel or something,
Mm,
there is an aversion, because again,
mm,
when someone is talking, like the whole assumption of a personal brand is that, at least for me, that it's not way too perfect as a design, and it has a lot of life to it. And when that
mm.
happens, um, there is slight differences between the way you completely design your website and things like that versus the personality that you're building on social media. Does that happen, or do you basically like follow to the T when it comes to their brand identity and things like
No,
that?
no. So, see, I would ask the founders, you either want to stick to your existing brand guidelines. I mean, if they have a tech brand, you want that colors also to be associated with you, or you need something brand new. I associate with social sculpt colors, and I am basically a designer from background, so I stick to the T of my designs. But if they are from manufacturing, if they are from different industry, they don't need to sit and properly design all these things. It it intentionally have spelling mistakes. It intentionally have the basic design mistakes that we intentionally make, so it looks authentic. That's it.
Makes a lot of sense, makes complete sense. Because when you're saying that the founder or someone is going and talking, it is so
Ah.
hard, give the algorithm, even for a person to
Mm,
basically like sit and say that it's like too much of brand out there. I don't know if I
mm,
can trust.
mm. Understood. I completely get it. I am also facing a lot of those kind of feelings now, but I can watch for an week and then figure it out. Okay, this person is not writing.
True, true. In fact, one other thing that I was able to like do is that like at least so for the company that I work for, they also believe in this building a brand themselves.
Mm,
Like if you go and check out on Twitter, Boring Marketer, right?
okay.
We've built a huge following over there,
Mm,
and if you see, we have a format. Like it took so much time for us to like double down or identify this is the format for us, right? And it's
okay.
not just single format, like it'll
Mm,
alternate between two or three formats. And if you go and take a look
okay.
at it, it will not be too much brand. Every time we do
Mm,
that, there's so much of branding elements in the
okay.
infographic that we do. The post never really seem to do well. It'll be simply on Apple Notes. We basically type it on Apple Notes, take a screenshot and put it over there. It performs crazily.
See, that's authenticity. See, basically, Apple Notes screenshots work really well on different platforms. I have seen it. See, Apple is in the premium segment, and people are using Apple Notes and taking screenshots and posting, and that also increases the credibility.
Chances are
Yes.
there. True.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that you have a questionnaire and things like that, and like you mentioned there's a criteria of
Mm,
experience and
mm,
various other things. Now, let's say that there is a process entirely to it.
mm.
Like, I book a call, like I want to work with you, I want to like build my personal brand. Now,
Okay.
I book a call with you. Like, can you basically like tell me step by step this happens and how long
Mm,
is there like you say it's 6 months to a year or whatever it is, right? It takes
mm,
time. But like do you have like a plan? The first 3 months is like this, next 3 months is like
mm.
this. Do you build that? What is the exact step from the call to they convert, and what happens after that?
Okay. So it differs people to people. That's one thing
Okay.
first I'm saying. So once you book a discovery call with me, I'll basically try to understand you. It will be a 40 minutes of call. I'll
Okay.
basically ask you one question, your story, and about your work. Only two questions. And with the flow, I'll dig deep on those things. And then we go back to the drawing board. Then we and after that call, we basically discuss the commercials bit. If they are ready to afford that, we go to the drawing board and we plan the strategy part, which is basically action plan. If it's LinkedIn or if it's Instagram, we'll sit and we will see what he wants to be positioned as, and we'll give them the overall tone questionnaire also from the story that we have heard, if we have doubts, and we sit with a strategy of how to position themselves as this. So basically, what kind of content strategy, content pillars that we can use, what kind of formats that would align with them, who are their audience, what the audience are seeing, basically competitor analysis, and what are the competitors are doing, how we can make them stand out of them, and that overall plan, and then we propose. Once they are aligned with those things, we discuss the KPIs. Once the KPIs are figured out, then we send them a MOU, sign, then start. It's basically 15 days to 1 month.
15 days to a month. Makes sense. And if I may ask, what is the price range that you offer your service
Mm.
for? Like, does it come under like tiers of price, or it's like a common thing for anyone?
See, for LinkedIn, it comes as a tier of pricing. Basically, we have three. 6, 12 months. Most people opt for 3 months.
3 months.
I would not suggest 3 months, but for them, what they would say is, no, Arun, I will try this for 3 months. If I see a bare minimum improvement or a feedback from my people around me, then we can proceed with 6 months. So 3 months is not something I suggest, but eventually for the market fit, I'm adding it to it. Basically, it varies from 1.5 to 2 lakhs for 3 months. Then for the third 6 months package or 12 months, it depends on the people and who they work with. And the 3 months package also varies depending on the people that we work with.
Got it. One critical thing that I mean, like we address when it comes to branding is also like commenting apart from creating content, right, Arun?
Yes, yes.
So do you basically like list these posts and say, hey, you can go and comment over here to them, or do you guys basically like get all the posts whenever you connect with them weekly or periodically, you get their answers as you try to get build your calendar or something of that sort as you connect with them, and then you basically go and comment? How does this whole commenting
So
process
this
work?
1 week thing doesn't work. See, you have to interact at the art of the moment of the content that is going, so that then only it actually pushes you towards different places. So 1 week doesn't work. So we won't do that. We basically we sit with the founder at the time of onboarding. We segregate a list of four kind of people, basically three kind of people. First 10 would be their friends. Next 10 would be their colleagues and they work with. Next 30 people is something or people who they want to network or aspire to network with. And the 40, next 10 people is something who are top, like for example, the account that they definitely won't engage with you, but you like to engage with them.
Makes
So
sense.
those are the 40 people that the super 40 that I take. We create, since we are building a brand, you already have a persona and you exactly know who your audience is. If it's your friend, I will interact it like your friend. If it is your colleague, you know how to speak to a colleague. If it's your ideal potential customer, you know how to interact with them. If it's your inspiration, you know how to interact. That's it.
So question is, do you guys do it, or the founder has to do it?
The founder can't be doing this. See, I have to send one post. He needs to see it.
Exactly.
He needs to tell
Yeah,
feedback. No, it is practically impossible.
exactly.
So
Yeah, that's why
that's
I
why
asked.
we're creating a persona. That's why we're creating a end goal, and we are getting the list from them. So basically, it's basically personalized.
Makes sense,
Just
because
scaling it.
I think I've talked to many different other personal branding
Mm,
agencies. I think this is the biggest missing piece that they create
mm,
content, they help with whether it's
mm,
video or whatever it is,
mm,
but they either share the links with us so that we can go and answer, or
mm,
they never bring that list. So it is a very
mm.
daunting task, because it's not necessary that like today I would want to engage with certain people, tomorrow I don't want to
So
engage, but
I have given my secret to a lot of agencies now.
I don't think they will still go ahead and do it, because
Okay.
many agencies,
Mm,
one of the things is that they're very small, number one, because if they have to do
okay.
it for like 10 other people, it's going to be like very
Mm,
difficult for them. So
okay.
I think that's one of the things, but I really like the
And
bucketing of yours.
okay, thank you. And one more thing is like in marketing, there is no secret. I don't believe in secrets.
Exactly. I'm
Uh,
sure they also know that you have to go and comment. They might
yeah,
be pitching that separately, like
people
engagement
are just
package.
lazy. People are just lazy.
That I agree. That I completely agree.
Yes.
Laziness is a slow killing poison, an epidemic that people are not
More than
aware.
laziness, I feel procrastination is the strongest killing pillar.
I think it stems from
L-
laziness, right? Like most of the cases,
yes,
procrastination stems from
yes,
laziness.
correct. But procrastination is something like I feel most talented people have procrastination.
Hey,
So
that also can coincide with this thing, I guess, is the imposter syndrome, because
yeah,
they
correct.
are not very confident to position
Yes,
themselves to say something very
yes,
strongly. and that's where they procrastinate.
Correct. I also find this with a lot of founders who want to approach me for personal branding. I tell Arun, இது நான் போட்டா ரீச் வருமா அப்படின்னு என்ன கேட்பாங்க. Bro, see, there are people who are half of your experience are showing up on LinkedIn and positioning yourself. Why are you worrying about it? And so we sometimes I also speak to them like a motivational guru and tell them, no, no, it will work. You will be big. So at times it will be, yeah.
No, I think one other thing is that you know, இல்லாத பிரச்சனைக்கு இப்பவே வந்து ஃபீல் பண்ற மாதிரி, because I
Correct.
I went through this imposter syndrome because many people come and tell me, why are you not very confident in putting the point out there? And later
Mm,
I figured out, and I've also seen people where they're very strong, headstrong about what they want to say. They go and say it,
mm,
whether it is true or not. They say it because controversies basically are something that is very well liked by a lot of other people. Like, for instance, like we recently saw Dipender Goyal's post about this chief of staff,
yeah.
hiring, right? And
Very
it
good
is
PR stunt.
very good PR stunt, and it is a post of like it would definitely spark a lot of controversies. Some would support, some would not. So I think idea of that is that, you, when you are building a brand, you are also taking a stand that you support this, you don't support that,
Yes.
and it has to be very clear when you put it out, and you should not be scared of it.
Yes. So we also ask a question to people we onboard. You want
Okay.
to speak about controversial topics or not?
Okay.
So
Okay.
if they tell yes, we also speak about that.
Nice. I think
Mm,
I mean, this is another giveaway that you've given it to the other agencies, because
mm,
at least a couple of them that I have interacted with never asked
mm,
me this question, that do you want
mm.
to speak something controversial? I think it
And
is
we also
mandatory.
ask something. We also ask something else. As, do you want to speak about religion as well?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we ask. There are some founders who are very much aligned towards certain religion. They want to stick to that, and we also feed along with the content. We also craft that along with the content. Basically, they are firm believers of that. That needs to be conveyed.
That's who they are. Like, I recently saw a
Yeah,
post today of Beer Bicep Ranveer, right? So
PRS, that logo
yeah, yeah,
rebranding. Yeah,
yeah, the
that is personal
rebranding
branding. Yeah, with
with
that Ram.
yeah, with Ram, and I mean,
Yeah,
with the Arjun and things like that.
so it
So
creates authenticity.
yeah, yeah,
I stick with that. I stick with my people also with that. See, you naturally related towards that, right? So that's how a strong brand should be. See,
and
why
I'm
I'm see, I
mindful of it.
intentionally told you that I'm atheist. I did it intentionally.
Makes sense.
See, that's how we differentiate.
Uh, yeah, I mean, like, you are basically like attracting someone saying, okay, you're an atheist. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of
Yes.
sparks interest and curiosity in
Yes.
personality itself, right? So yeah, I agree.
Yes.
And I mean, if he had not done that, I would not have remembered that, this
Yes.
person actually carries this belief. So
Hmm.
definitely a great point, Arun. Okay, we are at the end right now, right? So I'm going to ask
Super.
you a few. Let me call it as a rapid fire, in the essence of
Great.
time, things like that. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
one, but you can quickly sum it up, right?
Hmm.
So this is called a series called "Where Do You See?" It can be where do you see yourself, where do you see your agency, where do you see the whole
Hmm.
industry, and things like that. Okay.
Okay.
The first one is like, how do you, like, where do you see AI is going to impact in personal branding and content creation as such in, like, probably like a year or two time?
Okay, that's a answer that I'm building something for. So Sculpt use the tool to answer towards it. So people can use it to be empowered and create content with that. That's it. You empowered with AI.
Got it. Empowering. How do you see, like, where do you see yourself around, like,
Okay.
Sculpture
Okay.
is a great thing, but like 5 years down the line, where do you see yourself?
See, I see myself as entrepreneur who's trying to build a few more businesses around. It can be either I have plans for a D2C brand. I have plans for something else in the future. I want myself to be seen as a serial entrepreneur. Yeah, that's it.
And everything will have the philosophy of sculpting. Huh? Don't lose that.
Kind of, kind of,
Don't
kind of. It will definitely have. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that is a great association with Arun. Sculpt, social sculpt,
Mm.
sculpt you, and whatever sculpt based on the other business.
Sculptors, a podcast that I'm starting.
What sculpt?
Sculptors.
Wow, nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the logo is in Instagram. It's in my bio. I'm planning to start Sculptors podcast. It's basically people who have sculpted themselves,
Nice, nice.
self-made
Definitely
people.
much
Yeah.
needed. Much
Yes.
needed. Awesome.
Only
Uh,
self-made people are allowed.
Only self-made. Huh?
Yeah.
You're gonna have like very less percentage of people turn up, but I'm sure they're going to be like definitely inspiring.
Yeah. I only want that people.
And where do you see social sculpt in 2 years? Like, of course, you talked about Sculpt You, but as an agency,
Mm.
where do you see?
Okay. Social Sculpt will transform into an AI-powered agency, as well as it will also work along with the brands that I'm going to build in my future. It will just be my own agency in 5 years that also helps with my different brands.
Oh, nice, nice. Okay. Basically, your other businesses will also be relying on
Yes,
social sculpt as an
yes,
agent.
yes.
Do you have any
I don't know. I'm
in
saying it with much confidence. I don't know. Entrepreneurship is not a cakewalk. I may fail, I may stumble, but I won't give up. That's it.
I think failure is part and parcel of the
Yeah.
process. As far as you
Yes.
start and go ahead, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Just told since I have confidence now. Hmm.
Do you see yourself investing in something like, let's say, for example, some young
Hmm.
kid like you, some curious person like you comes into contact with you,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And he or she
Hmm.
is also as aspiring as you and wants
Okay.
to build, has a similar philosophy and vision. Do you plan to
Hmm.
invest in some
See, as I
business?
told you, like, yes, I told you, like, serial entrepreneur, next 5 years. Yeah, that's also a part of game.
Nice, interesting. Yeah, I don't think you just need to like always build an idea from the scratch. You can support
Hmm.
someone who has an interesting idea that goes
Yes,
well
and you can
with
be a fractional CMO of that startup
it.
as well. Yeah, you can
Exactly,
become an angel investor. Yeah, a lot of things, a lot of possibilities.
exactly. Interesting. And one
That's
last
why I
thing.
want to jump into podcasts as well as into Instagram to attract those kind of audiences, not
Makes
my
sense.
potential clients that I focus on LinkedIn.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, the two different platforms have two, I mean, like same people, but different shades. Huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, one last. I promise I'm not going to like further take your time.
No.
What
Okay.
advice would you like to give three different people? I'm going to say one is your peers,
Wow.
the
Okay.
other one is leaders, and the
Hmm.
third one is someone who's going to start venturing into like who's actually like super young, who's in college, who's getting into work side of the world. What would you like to give as an advice to all three of them?
Hmm. Okay. To peers, I would say don't try to cheat anyone. Stay true to your business, and that's it. For leaders who are building in my own space like that, try to be authentic as possible. Provide as much as value you can. Never give up on whatever you're trying to build or you're built so far. And for students or the third set of people that you asked, first try to learn as much as possible. I feel you definitely need to earn, but learn, uh, practically implement things, execute things. Even if you have ideas, execute it. Then just don't chase money. Then you should start earning.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, I think I agree with all three. I mean, personally, not experienced with the cheating part of it, but looks like you have some sort of an experience around there
It's not basically they also don't know that it is cheating. They a lot of
unintentionally.
people unintentionally do those kind of stuffs. Yeah, they just think it is like a game. Yeah, business is a game unless you don't use cheat codes.
Ethics matters a lot.
Ethics matters. Ethics makes you to go in a longer run as well as if you are building your personal brand. Ethics also plays a huge role. Like it builds trust, it builds your reputation. Yeah.
True. I mean, it was a very nice conversation with you, Arun. I was like, thinking that, okay, I mean, first of all, I would like to confess this because when you
Okay.
talk to someone young, right, like, will they have so much to offer? Will the conversation be fruitful is something that anyone will think, because at least from my end, I'm stupid person who is in 30s who always comes with this preconceived notion, because it experience is also a curse, right? You've seen people, you've done certain things, so that is a curse in itself. But I think
Mm.
it changed my preconceived notion from my first conversation, the first question till now, and I learned so much from you. And I really feel that the vision that you have for social sculpt or personal branding as such, as a whole thing, is something that I really would like to salute you for, because you've stuck to the
Thank you so
stand
much.
from the time we connected on LinkedIn over chat, over the call, and till now, as we spoke. So it means a lot. So much
Thank you so much.
thanks a lot for sharing all your ideas, your future vision, and your experience with me, because I got to learn so much from you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, pleasure. Always a pleasure to give back to the community.
And do let me know, when your product is basically, like, whether it's in beta version or whatever
Mm.
it is, I'll be happy to try out. And when you're starting
Sure.
the cohort, please do let me know. Also, the
Sure.
podcast, do share the link. Very will be
Sure.
definitely happy to subscribe to it and listen to the stories myself.
Sure. Definitely. You'll see me in LinkedIn actively. So yeah, definitely I'll post. Yeah. We'll see. I'll
Cool
chat with
then.
you also.
Have
Sure.
an
Thank
amazing
you.
day, Arun.
Thank you so much. I really had a very good time, and the conversation was like speaking to my friend who met after a long time. Yeah, it was very, really engaging, as well as your questions were very profound and spontaneous and very thoughtful. I really like the question also. Without a great question, we can't give a great answer as well. So I feel your questions matters a lot, and you also did your part of research. You went through my content, which I thought a lot of people won't see, read, or understand possibly, and you understood the dynamic of why I wrote that content also. So I'm much happier after completing this podcast. Yeah, felt wholesome. Just venting to my friend after a long time. It felt like that. So happy.
Same here. It felt like talking to a friend.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.